Hey guys, Prof here, and today I've got a follow-up video on my RTX 2080 Ti, and sadly, it's not any good news. Alright guys, so today we're on the Google Pixel 3 since I needed to shoot this video real quick. What's going on? If you follow me on Twitter, what you really should for stuff like this is down here, that's Anthrax 9. My second desk is now finished being built and is completed. This is eventually where Chibi PC will be, under there someplace. We got a keyboard tray, so we got more space on top, etc. But this is where I was working on Anthrax 9. And if you've been following Twitter at all, you would know that life has not been great. I mean, in a way, I am known for having bad hardware. In fact, one of my followers on Twitter actually made the hashtag all the RMAs specifically for me because of this. Well, I had some issues with this system. If you can see, here's my test layout. We got an H60 on my, 6850K. My Sabertooth X99 is under there. We got the RTX 2080 Ti, which is what I'm focusing on right now. The next big thing up you can see is the 750 Ti FTW from EVGA. Then wedged in between there, we have an ROG Aerion 10 gigabit card. I used to use the $100 red ones, but the red ones look so bad. And then up top we have my Intel 900P. So this is my test setup to make sure all my hardware is working before I water cool it. As you can see, there is a kind of ghetto Noctua NF-A12 industrial, that's specifically a 3000 RPM one, tie wrapped to the side of the case there to add an additional airflow. Well, when I was initially doing the first install of Windows on here and ran some benchmarks, I actually had a system hang after running my first benchmark, which was Rise of the Tomb Raider 4K, highest preset, no AA, 4K, and it actually completed the benchmark, okay? And then after completing the benchmark, the system hung, because I saw that it completed it. And then I was busy doing something else. So I'm like, oh, I'll just let it sit there. It's not going to run anything. And then it just hung. And I couldn't get Windows to shut down. And that, one thing I noticed was that the 2080 Ti was super warm, especially on the back plate. So if you notice, I have an inverted chassis. And that's why that NF-A12 is there. Because, you know, it's a test setup. If you notice, no front fans, so there's really no airflow going across the system. So I'm like, oh, you know, I'll add a fan just in case. Even though realistically temps that I saw weren't getting out of hand or anything like that. Just in case I would add that. And I actually could not get the system to boot again. What I ended up having to do or find out was my set of RAM up here. I have two sets of this exact same model of Corsair Vengeance LPX here, DDR4. And I actually had some issue with recent BIOSes, but nothing major. Basically, this set has a XMP profile. It's 4x99. It has an XMP profile that's 2133, and then it also has a 2400 set. For some reason, as of a recent BIOS update, I couldn't get 2400. With this set right here, my system will no longer post. So I thought my 2080 Ti was all hunky-dory and fine. You know what I mean? Because this RAM was bad. Now, I don't know why the RAM would have gone bad, because as you know, this is really a rebuild of Anthrax, not all new parts. So this RAM has been in my system for a good 2-3 years, at least, and running solid and stable and all that sort of stuff. Now in there is the same LPX, because I had two sets, exact same model, and so it's only running on 32 gigs, not 64, and it runs fine. Once I switched to this set of RAM, we got it booted up, everything was hunky-dory, which is weird that that set would go out, but I of course resumed testing, you know, yanked the bad set out. I'm going to RMA it, and we're just running on 32 gigs for now. And remember, this isn't just a gaming system, so that's why once you start editing 4K video, you'll understand why I have 64 gigs of RAM. And I didn't have much more luck, actually. If you follow on Twitter, you'd see that I got some major artifacting from this 2080 Ti. I'll put it up on screen, up on screen now. And yeah, so it made it through the Rise of the Tomb Raider benchmark. I ran it a couple times, actually. Made it through TimeSpy Ultra. It would not run superposition, like flat out would not run superposition. Then I'm like, oh, we'll go to Auto Game, and I had benched Resident Evil 6 for Chibi PC. It's a DirectX 9 game, has a looping benchmark. Well, on the third loop through that, it artifacted as it was shown in my Twitter post, like to the point where I was eventually able to get out of the game, but even the desktop was artifacting, which is kind of crazy if you ask me. Especially because like I haven't even had this card run a game yet. You know what I mean? Basically out of the box, it's artifacting, which really sucks. I mean, generally if hardware's gonna be bad, it's gonna be bad out of the box. Really sucks that it's this, but once again, that's why you do what I did here, kind of throw everything together, just the minimum components before you water cool it, because it would have been even worse to deal with that when it was water blocked already. But yeah, this card in here, I really can't trust it. And now I'm wondering, is because one of the most common things you can kill RAM with is heat. And this backplate, Squeers was over here with me, and after TimeSpy, when it still wasn't artifacting, right? And that fan's kicking over at 3,000 RPM, so there's nice cool air blowing on it. The backplate was too hot to touch. GPU temps up until this point were 72 to 77 C, and this is stock clocks. I hadn't installed precision, wasn't controlling fans, nothing like that. So, and then once it got through a few loops of Resident Evil, it just locked up. Artifacted like crazy. And then I couldn't actually get it to boot again, which is that's rough. Oh, and by the way, this memory in here, this second set did pass mem test. Before I even reinstalled Windows, I went through all of that. So it's not the system at this point. And we got the 750 Ti in there. I'm probably gonna re-go through everything on that, but it is. It's super unlucky. A follow-up to that is I was posting this all on my Twitter feed, and Keith over at WCCF Tech caught it and did include it in his update about artifacting and failing 2080 Ti's. With that, after that, I actually had seen the stuff with Gamers Nexus about them looking for known broken 2080 Ti's. And went over what was up with mine and saw if they were interested, and indeed they were. So very shortly after this video is done being recorded, I'm actually going to box it off and ship it off to Steve before I RMA it, and so he can hopefully figure out not necessarily what's wrong with my card, because it really doesn't matter, it's going to be RMA'd, but what might be plaguing these RTX 2080 Ti's, because for a brand new card to have this many problems so new, it seems kind of odd to me. But maybe it was a bad batch. All I know is with mine, and I went over like the stuff that I found with the little bit of benchmarking I was able to do, and especially how searingly hot that backplate got. It was kind of crazy. So once it goes out to him, I don't think he'll get any information any quicker than you guys will. Because he'll be putting it on that video. But follow me on on Twitter at TheProfosist, and keep your eyes peeled for my Founders Edition 2080 Ti to be showing up over at Gamers Nexus. I will have more build log videos on Anthrax 9 because I do need to get Windows set up, water cooling loop bled, cleaned out, all that sort of stuff. So stick around for that, and I will have a follow-up video on the 2080 Ti, if I hear anything from Steve, or if, like when I do the RMA and how that whole process goes, because there have been news of people who RMA it getting bad cards, which I've had with motherboards before, but I really hope that doesn't happen. because I would like to get this system up and running for Battlefield 5. I don't know if it will happen on launch. I would like to say, you know, like by the holiday, you know, have my nice new system up and running and be able to start migrating stuff over. For sure by the new year, I would like to have it fully overclocked, everything set up, and like that. Now, that might seem kind of crazy, but I am doing a fairly custom build here, and we'll need to do sleeving on power supply, sleeve the second power supply, and stuff like that. So keep your eyes peeled. I'll update you as soon as I know more about at least my 2080 Ti situation, and if I hear from anybody else about theirs. We'll see you in the next one.